Alafia, welcome once again to the online Ifa classroom. My name is David Graham. I also go by Awo Ifa Foray at the Ifa Foundation International. And today I wanted to take a minute away from teaching or discussing ideology or how-tos and talk about a subject that it's not really my favorite to talk about, but that gets brought up an awful lot by the folks that I work with, and that is Ifa and money. Specifically, what I get a lot is, I want this ceremony performed, I want this tool, I want to be initiated, how much does it cost? And so I want to talk a little bit about how that works. Anytime, let me first back up by saying that it is my opinion that anytime you mix something pure, such as the Ifa philosophy, with a necessary evil like money, it is impossible to walk away from that unscathed. Meaning that inevitably people are going to misuse what they've been taught, take advantage of others, dangle carrots, etc. And by the way, this is not Ifa-centric. This is any pure doctrine in life, whether it's religious or art or musical, doesn't matter. When you mix the ideology with the practical day-to-day side involving money, the waters will get muddy. Excuse me, just getting over a cold. But what I get more often than not is, why does it cost so much money to be initiated? Why does it cost so much money to do this, that, or the other? In order to get a grip of that, we have to understand Ifa in its historical terms. You have to understand that historically, the Babalawo, or the Ifa priest, that was his or her full-time job. Many instances, they would travel from village to village, town to town, and they would offer their services as diviners, as healers, as problem solvers. And as such, they were compensated either with money, with food, with clothing, with lodging, with shelter, etc. It's for one of the same reasons that we practice Ebo, the idea that you can't get something for nothing. And that was their full-time job. And their clientele understood that in order for them to do the best work that they could do, to elevate the spirit, to do the best divinations, to direct you the best way they could, that they had to be taken care of. By the way, that's a side point. People talk a lot about the Babalawo staff and it being a tool. That was the purpose of the staff, is the Babalawo would take it with him from town to town, and then wherever he set up shop, he would go outside, stick the staff in the ground, and it would let you know that, quote, the doctor was in, among other things. Nowadays, things are very different, and most Ifa priests have day jobs. I do know some that do this work full-time, but most have day jobs. And so the rules of engagement have changed. Let me also back up by explaining how initiation was historically done. Historically, when a young man or young woman was selected to be an Ifa priest, number one, it was normally ordained or brought to light through divination. Then the Ifa priest would sit down with the potential initiate, get a gauge of their aptitude, their interest, etc. And then once the determination was made that this young man or young woman was a suitable candidate to be an Ifa priest, they were taken on as an apprentice. And that typically happened around 7 years of age. And they would apprentice for anywhere between 7 and 15 years before they were ready to go out on their own and be an Ifa priest. That included all the dirty work, from taking care of the animals, to cleaning up after the mess, to picking the herbs needed, to, you name it, doing the laundry of the Babalawo. In exchange, they were taught the Odum, the verses, the recipes and ingredients used in healing, the rituals used to initiate, and on the list went. So it really was quid pro quo of sorts, where the initiate earned his keep and learned his craft by paying his dues. Again, this has completely changed. Nowadays, typically what happens is someone comes either out of curiosity, or they want to learn this path, or they have a need that they want fulfilled. They decide they want to initiate. They slap down a check or a credit card or cash. They go get their ceremony done, and they're an Ifa priest. Well, they are an Ifa priest. They're just an Ifa priest who doesn't know anything. And it is the job of the person who initiates you to not only um, put your head and heart in alignment, but to teach you how to do readings, teach you how to do healings, teach you how to help others solve their problems, teach you to put others Ori in alignment, and on and on and on. So the real question is, how do you put a price tag on that? What's fair? Well, in my case, I have a day job. Um, and so I can be up for discussion as long as the number is fair. I know Ifa priests who only practice Ifa, that is their sole means of income. And my 2 cents is that they're going to throw a number out there that they need in order to survive. And that while I'm sure it's open for discussion, the numbers from the folks that I know are very reasonable. Understand that when you write that check or you slap down that cash, you're not doing it for a one and done. It's not, here's my money, take me out to a secret place, poof, I'm an Ifa priest. Although, literally speaking, that is true. The problem is you come out of the sacred grove as an Ifa priest, but as an Ifa priest who doesn't know anything. It is then the job of the person who initiated you to teach you. That teaching, in theory and all reality, should be a lifetime. Certainly several years of discussing Odu, learning how to divine, participating in ceremonies, everything from crowning Orisha to healing to Ifa initiation and everything in between. Learning, the use of herbs, the use of stones, if animals are involved, how that is done, the proper way to handle them, care for them, dispatch them. All of these things we in the West fall victim to, as Mayalua would say, get rich, get honest, get respected, and get them in that order. Meaning we want everything right now. He's got this great saying that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to, a lot of people want to be an Ifa priest. They don't want to put in the time, the effort, the financial commitment, but more importantly, the time commitment to do it. I plan to do another piece shortly about not everyone is supposed to be an Ifa priest. And it's true. It's a daily commitment. It is waking up every day and attending to your spiritual needs, taking care of your shrines, saying your prayers, divining for yourself at least once a week, divining for your ikufa at least once a month, divining for others, helping others, initiating others, doing readings, solving problems, spreading the word of this philosophy, and on it goes. It is not a one and done. It is not a wham bam thank you ma'am. And so many times I have people that come to me and they're an initiate. They have received their Ifa. They don't know how to divine. They don't know the Odu. They don't even know how to take care of their Ifa. They were taken somewhere, they were given some tools. Most of the time an animal was dispatched. There were prayers said in another language typically. And then they're given their tools, they're patted on the head, and they're sent on their merry way. No guidance, no training, no education, no tools to help you be an Ifa priest and be one who is a good representative of Orunmula's teachings. So again, how do you put a price on that? Is that worth $1,000? Is it worth $10,000? Is it worth $100,000? I don't think you can put a price tag on someone passing on a lifetime of their teachings to you. I don't think you can put a price tag on somebody passing on their experience, their wisdom, what has worked for them, why, how. I don't think there's a number that can be placed on that. I think there's a figure that can be agreed upon that is fair for all parties. And I certainly think that it's the job of the teacher to be empathetic to the financial situation of the potential student. I also think it's the job of the student to understand that the teacher has needs that they have to fulfill as well. You can't teach spirituality to a starving man. But it's a conversation that we need to have, and it's a conversation that we need to stop shying away from, and feel like we can't talk about Ifa and money. If the Ifa priest only practices Ifa, then it stands to reason that in order for them to carry on in this world, they're going to have to charge for what they do. And the student should be sympathetic to that. And in many cases, it's going to require that the student save some money before they make the commitment to initiate. And I think that that's a good thing, because it's a lifetime commitment. It should not be a judgment made quickly. It shouldn't be made capriciously. It should be given the thought, the attention that it deserves. One final note, when or if you decide to initiate or you decide to work with a spiritual mentor, you really owe it to yourself to find out, A, the background of the person that you're working with. Who did they initiate under? How long did they study? Where did they study? Look at their life. Look at their character. Examine where they are in life. Are they someone that you should mentor from? Do they have a stable home, stable relationship, stable job, spiritually empowered, walking in good character? Or are they difficult to get a hold of, difficult to respond, difficult to pin down? You should also find out if the money that you're paying comes with training, either before, during, or after, preferably all three. I know that at the foundation it does. These are the questions that you need to be asking. Not once I get the magic rocks will all my problems dissipate. I was reading a book by Fallo Kun Fantanabe, and basically he says in it that in the West, everybody wants the immediate solution to the problem, and they want it to appear as magic out of thin air. That's contradictory to what Ifa teaches. Ifa teaches that the magic happens slow and it's subtle, and it's the evolution and the blessings that occur as we align our head and our heart, as we align to our highest destiny, and as we really begin to understand and walk with good character as the Yoruba taught it. When we do these things, life inevitably gets better. That is a side effect of walking with good character. Your life will get better. It's not magic. It really is logical. 1 + 1 does just equal 2. That's the teaching that you should be getting from anybody that you're working with. The idea that I can give you a pot full of secret ingredients and all of a sudden your problems go away is counterintuitive to what Ifa teaches. That may partially be the case. I may give you a pot of magical things and some of your problems may dissipate, but typically it's because your life changes and your behavior, thought process, and the way you carry yourself changes, and you align yourself at a deeper level to good character. That results in better decisions, which results in a better life. It's not magic. It just looks magical to those that don't understand it. Anyway, I've ranted and raved about this for long enough. Hopefully that's the one and done conversation about Ifa, initiation, and money. The bottom line is, if you want to be an Ifa priest, you're going to have to pay for it some way, shape, or form, whether it's through sweat equity, a check, donating your time. Nothing comes for free, and that decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Till the next time, take care of yourself and each other.